Well, let's get right into it as the Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime of Super Bowl 58. The Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions for the first team to do it since 2004 when the Patriots did it. So it has been a long time. And before we get into the game itself, Toddy, Kaz, please join me in giving a round of applause to the man who predicted that the Chiefs would repeat as Super Bowl champions, Mr. Garry Singh.
Appreciate you.
Toddy with the one clap. As you know, I just got to give Garry his flowers.
Super Bowl prediction. Did you have the Niners in the Super Bowl?
I'm not gonna lie, I think I had the Eagles, but it's okay. The winners will matter.
Yeah, well, he did get the winner.
Bracket, did I? Did I win the playoff bracket too now?
I'm not sure. You'll have to count it up. I'm sure you will. But anyways, Garry, I just wanted to give you your flowers because we talk about the infamous notebook all the time and all the bad takes are on the notebook. But you nailed that one, so congratulations. But the Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions, first team to do it in 20 years. And I just want to give a shout out to Uncle Manny, who's always rocking with us, as he says, Garry, great preseason pick. And Uncle Manny's also says, props to the 49ers fans for not calling out today. It was a great game and both teams gave it all they had. Congrats to the Chiefs and the baby goat. Have a great season. Thank you, Uncle Manny. I'm sorry, but that was hard for me to read. Anyways, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. They beat the 49ers in overtime. Kaz, as our guest, I'm going to throw it to you first. Just what were your takeaways from this Super Bowl?
So I was live streaming yesterday, like I said, and I was watching the game on my phone. I'm right in front of me, and one thing I noticed was, and low-key, I kind of expected it, but it was a little more than, I guess I envisioned, but slow. I was like, man, I'm surprised. There's not a lot of fireworks to start this game off. The first half was very stale. We didn't really see any sort of excitement besides, the one pick from by Mahomes, and then a couple key sacks by your guys' defense. But other than that, just defenses showed up. Both offenses didn't really do much. The guys who are the superstars on both sides, Chris McCaffrey and Travis Kelce, those two alone that's pretty much it. It was the McCaffrey Kelce show, and that's about it. Purdy had a very Brock Purdy like game. Mahomes had a very, I won't say he didn't have a bad game, but he had a very, whatever-ish game. I think he went for 320 some.
333.
Yeah, 333 through the air. Then he had 69 or something like that on the ground, that was great. But all in all, there was no fireworks in the Super Bowl. There was none. There was, I couldn't even count on one hand, that was an amazing, huge play. There was a couple Mahomes runs that are that was game changing. But that was about it. I thought it was a defensive dominant game for the most part. Up until, the second half and going into the fourth quarter, I think I tweeted something. I said, there's going to be something crazy that happens in this game. And then I went to overtime, and I'm like, there's going to be something crazy that's going to happen in overtime to end this game. And I did not have, Mahomes into the game with almost 70 yards rushing on my bingo card at all. But there it was. So I thought it was, for the most part, pretty stale Super Bowl. It wasn't boring, but it was far from exciting. And I seen a lot of tweets and posts about, of course, the refs, this and that. I'm like, dude, come on. It goes, but I don't know how Niners fans are feeling right now. I only have a couple Niners fans that I'm friends with outside of you guys. And I'm like, do you guys feel cheated? Do you feel like you guys showed up and this was taken from you? I don't think you guys showed up and I don't think Kyle Shanahan schemed that well on offense for you guys to go out there and to do something tremendous. Brock Purdy missed a couple key throws, but he didn't have a bad game. Okay. George Kittle was non-existent. All right. It was just McCaffrey. Brandon Ayuk had a couple key plays, Debo, whatever. That was it.
Jaevon Jennings.
That was your superstar outside of McCaffrey. McCaffrey had 170 or 160 all-purpose yards, something like that. And then Jaevon Jennings. That's it. That's not going to win you a Super Bowl, but it's going to keep the game close, which the game was close. But you cannot have a team like the Chiefs that are led by a guy like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, who is arguably a top 2 coach of all time. So the end result was exactly how the end result should have been, given you guys had opportunities and you did not capitalize. The better team, if you were to ask me, won yesterday. So,
all right, Garry. Well, you were right. You did predict this all season long. And so number one, where's the baby goat rank right now for you all time? And number two, just how did this game go from your perspective?
Oh, there's so many takes and angles we can go with this game. I know we're gonna get into them. My overall, I gotta disagree with Kaz. I'm not gonna lie, brother. I don't know what game you were watching, but that game was super exciting to me. Sheesh, especially the second half, fourth quarter overtime. That was going neck and neck, back at it. Defense, I know first half, I guess, was in fireworks, guns a blazing, but man, that first half was in terms of I took away from that first half was basically the Niners could have had a chance to stop on the Kansas City's neck. Simple. Like how many chances they had to take over that game, going 10-3, and they're getting the ball at second half. I really thought, was really set up for them. And you could tell both teams' defense in that first half were just lights out. I couldn't tell. I just really want to give props to both defenses in the first half because you couldn't. I was gonna say maybe they're playing with nerves or anything like that. Got Christian McCaffrey fumble. We always had Pacheco fumble early on as well. So I thought maybe it was a little bit of that, but at the same time, you just got to give credit for the defense. They were just all attack, all go. Everyone on both sides was acting a demon, to be honest with you. And then the second half, I think if you look at it, really the third quarter, after, again, Patrick Mahomes throws an interception in this quarter as well as they give the ball up and you guys they don't score on the first drive either in the second half either. So it was just like I felt like chance after chance, and I was just shocked that I'm like, this is like, even though I've been saying all year, KC's defense has been carrying him in a way, keep him in this game. But man, like you guys weren't going to be able to capitalize on that. Then the Chiefs, I felt like weren't able to capitalize on their thing. And finally, they got the break. The breaks will all break. They're special teams, and they always say you got to be better in all three phases of the game. The special teams, a little blunder, or you could call whatever. That's a tough one. It's not really his fault because he's blocking. He's not worried about the football hitting his foot when he's blocking. But, it's kind of one of those awareness things, and boom, taps his foot, and they get an easy touchdown. And things change from there, man. And at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to basically you guys let Patrick Mahomes, as Shaun just said, I've been calling him all year, the baby goat, linger around. And if you let that happen, then bad things happen at that end. You just ask any team that he went through. Ask the Bengals, who he has literally beat, the Bills, the Ravens, the Dolphins. The crazy part is that he's in this dynasty run right now. And I was just thinking earlier today, he's in this dynasty run. He's in the AFC with the better quarterbacks, and he's stopping all these guys, and all these guys are now going to be held to this level at 28, and he's already in the conversation of, like Shaun started the segment about, is he with Brady already? And I don't think no one, especially when he lost to Brady, I didn't think he was going to be very hard for him to get in this conversation again. And, he just kept on pushing, and they just kept on fighting when everyone was doubting them with the catches this year. And it's, I just kept saying, like, he's on that Michael Jordan, LeBron-esque run where he's just dominating every which way. And if you give that man a chance at the end, he's going to make you pay. And this time he did it for a team that everyone called better than him. He was counting out 4 times. This whole team was counting out 4 times. Underdogs the whole way through this run. And they go back to back. So, in my opinion, this was a great, one really great Super Bowl in my mind, just to see you go nip and tuck. You got to give credit to the Niners. They fought hard. I want to dance in your grave a lot. I'm not going to lie today, but it's hard to because you guys really played really hard, and there's nothing about it. I don't think you guys should feel robbed or anything. I think it just came down to you guys let one of the best quarterbacks all time, to answer Shaun's question. In my mind, he's still a baby GOAT. Tom Brady's still the GOAT overall. He's right there in number 2. But you let one of the guys on Mount Rushmore now have the ball very end. You guys went for a field goal, and he knew it's either I get a touchdown, it's game over, and we get this bowl, or it's a field goal, and we might have more time. But I just had a feeling, I was just like, even when the 2-minute drop, surprising, and then the 2-minute drill in the fourth. But he knew that his defense could get a stop, and man, oh man, that's all I just felt like. It just came down to him having the ball last, and he just made what greats always do in this game, just make great opportunities and make great memories. And now the Niners will be and for 2 of those in the history, just being, might go down as one of the best teams in history ever in history to never win a Super Bowl. Because if we go down the line of how many Hall of Famers you guys got, you can't hate on that at all, because and now you got people questioning the coach now today too. So it's just a whole whirlwind of things. And at the end of the day, I think if I was a Niners fan, I'd be sad and heartbroken, obviously, but I'd be happy too, because at the same time, expectations were for you guys to get here. So yeah, like, you can say the Steelers, you could say the Eagles, or whatever team you want to say that didn't get here. Expectations for you guys to get here, and you guys met the expectations, and you guys just couldn't get over the hump. And losing to a GOAT, one of the GOATs, ain't too bad, man. It ain't too bad.
Shout out to our guy James for tuning in on Instagram Live. As he says, it's heartbreaking, the most heartbreaking one yet, but I'm still faithful to the Bay. And James falls in the same category as Jaevon and I, where we're diehard 49ers fans that have never seen our team win a Super Bowl. So it's very painful. And now I toss it to James' cousin, Mr. Jaevon Toddy, who is very much a diehard fan like all of us, and he's very sad just like I am. So Jaevon, you have the floor. Just give us your thoughts.
Let it all out, as they say.
Yeah.
We get the ball first. The coin toss was kind of whoever gets the ball is going to defer at halftime because the Chiefs were going to defer and Shanahan usually defers. So whoever was going to win was going to say, you have the ball first. No, you have the ball. So we get the ball first, and we're kind of firing on all cylinders. You know, McCaffrey, we're hitting guys over the middle, and I'm pumped. I'm like, uh-oh. Like, here we go. It's going to be one of these days. Get into the red zone. McCaffrey fumbles. I'm like, huh. He was down, right? Like, he doesn't fumble the ball. Like, he's only fumbled 3 times the entire year. Or twice. That was his
Offensive Player of the Year.
time. That was his third time. And I was like, oh, his knee was down. We'll be all right. Turnover.
Had to be.
Chiefs get the ball, and I'm just like, bro, like, the one thing that I said is we cannot give Mahomes extra possessions in any type of way possible, because if you give him extra possessions, he's going to pay. And he doesn't turn the ball over in the postseason. I think it's been a few years since the last time he's had a turnover in
Bengals 3 years ago.
Yeah, so kind of just looking back at it like, okay, that's not good. And then, you know, the defense kind of was firing on all cylinders. Hats off to Chase Young, who showed up, Javon Hargrave, shout out to the Eagles, for stepping up because he was kind of non-existent, I'd say, throughout the playoffs. Nick Bosa probably had the best game of his career season. I don't know.
While being held every play.
I thought he was very very effective. And Eric Armstead too definitely showed up. I think whenever he's healthy, he can be definitely a force up the middle.
Sacramento's finest.
I thought Mooney Ward played well. I thought Deommodore Lenoir played very well. We held Travis Kelce to like a catch and a yard in like the first half, so you couldn't ask for anything better. I thought there were definitely some possessions where we kind of stalled in the first half, where it was like, okay, like we're getting the ball. Like, defense is doing their job, right? Defense is doing their job. We end up scoring with the crazy Jawan Jennings throwback. I thought it looked like when Purdy threw it to Jawan, Jawan was going to throw it back to Purdy, and then Purdy was going to throw it to fucking, I don't know, whoever was running.
George Kittle.
Yeah.
George Kittle down the seam was apparently the number 1 option, and then McCaffrey was the number 2.
And freaking Burford jumps in front of L'Jarius Sneed, who could have definitely turned that into a pick 6. And McCaffrey runs all the way in, and it's a freaking touchdown. And I was like, oh, my God. We just scored. We're up 10-0. But at the same time, when we were up 10-0, I was like, I've seen this movie before. We've been up 10 against Mahomes in the Super Bowl before. So my mind
up 11 going into the 4th.
So my mind was kind of like, we need to score again. we need to score a field goal, a touchdown. We need to go up by multiple, like 2 touchdowns. We got to go up at least by that. And it never kind of panned out in the second half. The Niners kind of stalled throughout the second half. Spagnuolo was blitzing the shit out of Purdy, and Purdy wasn't very good against the blitz, which was abnormal of him because he's usually, well, statistically, he was like 12 of 19 against the blitz, but in like very key spots where we needed, you know, certain conversions on third down, he was not great. I think overall on third down, he was like 3 of 12, which is not good. But against the blitz overall, that's a totally different stat. But kind of going into the second half, I'm like, okay, like Mahomes gets the ball. We need to get a stop. I think we get the interception out of halftime, if I'm not mistaken.
Shortly after.
I think it was, I don't know if it was directly after because
early third, I think
it was, yeah, it was early in the third quarter we get the interception because I think the Chiefs, they get a field goal, so we're up 10-6. and Mahomes throws a pick, and I was like, this is a gift from Jesus Christ himself. Mahomes does not turn the ball over, let alone in the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs, he does not turn the ball over. So I'm like, oh, bro, we just got a pick. We need to go down and score a touchdown. What happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. We don't do anything with the ball again. And I'm just like, bro, like, why are we letting them hang around? Hanging around here, hanging around there. They punt. We fumble on the punt return. Now, it wasn't a muff punt. Chris Conley, like, I guess the ball like hit his ankle or something like that. And Rare McLeod was he was trying to recover it, and it was just the whole thing was fucked up from the jump. So I'm like, okay.
That's why they yell Peter.
Okay, hey, let's maybe the defense can go out there and stop. Nope, next play, Mahomes touchdown. Chiefs go up for the first time, and I'm just like, there's no way this is happening currently right now. My mind started to flash back to the Lions game when we got the fumble recovery against Jahmyr Gibbs, and all of the momentum started to change. I was feeling that momentum shift, and it was like the Niners have to respond. So that they go up. Purdy kind of, answers pretty. I thought the defense. I thought we got away from the run game initially in the third quarter. For the majority of the game, we were running the ball pretty solidly. I thought in the third quarter we got a little bit pass happy, but at the same time, Spagnuolo was starting to adjust to our style of play, and they were stuffing the run. So we were facing downs in the third quarter where it was like, instead of it being like 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, it's like 2nd and 9, 2nd and 14, just 2nd and 12. So we had a bunch of false start penalties, a couple of by Trent Williams, which was very unlike him.
3, bro. I'm like,
we had a. I thought we lost the penalty battle because we were, instead of it, and these were on 2nd down plays. They weren't on like 1st down to where we probably still could have ran and been able to get a little bit of the yardage back going into 3rd down and 2nd down. We're faced with like 2nd and 20, 2nd and 23, 2nd and 15. And then on that 2nd down, we try to run the ball or pass the ball, and it's 3rd and long now. And we're just like kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. So it's not helping us. We're kind of hurting ourselves more than helping ourselves. But the Niners end up responding with the touchdown catch to Jaevon Jennings, who was a monster in this whole entire game.
Then Moody.
And then the kick gets blocked by special teams was not in. Special teams wasn't really in sync. And
I'm surprised y'all even kept Moody.
For the special teams not to be in sync,
he balled out yesterday.
Jake Moody hits 2 50-plus yard field goals. And
he just been iffy all offseason. Remember he missed one earlier to this offseason? This postseason?
Every time he kicks the ball, I want to speak for all 49er fans. We hold our breath because
exactly. So that means you need to
every time he kicks the ball, I'm just like, here we go. We got a rookie kicker kicking in the Super Bowl. Like, please. And then Kyle just sent him out there. Not really flinching, which I got to give him credit for. But all 49er fans are terrified when Jake Moody steps out on the field. Now he hit 2 50-plus field goals, 50-yard field goals yesterday. It just so happens that the easier extra point that we kind of needed, kicks it into, he kind of line drives it, and we're only up 3 points now. So that's just another little nugget of just kind of just letting them hang around instead of going up by 4, which instead of a field goal doesn't really do anything. Oh, you're just saying I got to go down and kick a field goal? That's nothing for old Mahomes, man. I get that, he's kind of been under duress all day, but hey, I can get us in field goal range. So the Chiefs get the ball back, and I'm just like, all right, like we got to get a stop. And they drive all the way down the field. They don't just get into field goal range. They get into it's like 1st and goal, 2nd and goal. I'm thinking like, we need to stop them from scoring a touchdown because the game might be over. If they'll end it off of a touchdown. And I'm just like, Mahomes to Kelsey, I'd say from the first half, which I really didn't give Kelsey stats. He only had like one catch or two catches for a yard or a catch for a yard or whatever it was. He ended up ending the game with like 90 yards. He
93.
He was the leader as far as receptions, catches, all of that.
He should be.
And they get into the red zone, and I'm just like, oh my fucking God, we're gonna lose to Patrick Mahomes in regulation. The defense stalls them, and they kick the field goal. So we're going into overtime. Let's
talk about overtime. Sensitive subject.
I'm a little nervous going into OT.
Are you guys mad? Do you guys want the ball or no? Do you guys mad that he kept the ball?
Different in overtime. I get that both teams are going to be
49ers didn't know that, Jaevon. We knew that. Half the team
Everyone
didn't know that.
I really don't think
Kyle Juszczyk and Eric Armstead both literally said in their post-game media
not to be mean, but they fucked up.
That the overtime rules changed.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't. I think it does matter. It does matter because Jaevon, it matters.
Mahomes goes down and scores a touchdown. Then what?
Then you
get the ball back.
Go back and score a touchdown.
No. The difference is if Mahomes goes down and scores a touchdown, then when you get the ball, because of the new overtime rules, it's just like college. You know that you have to score a touchdown. Therefore, you do 4-down territory, just like the Chiefs did 4-down territory in their drive. Instead, the 49ers settled for a field goal. And Jaevon, I'll pass the mic back to you, but for the team, Chiefs players were saying after the game, yes, we talked about that numerous times. We went over the double overtime rules, the new overtime rules. But yet, Kyle Juszczyk, the Super Bowl. Well, the thing is Kyle Juszczyk fucking went to Harvard. That guy's smart. Eric Armstead is very smart. We see everything he does off the field in the community of Sacramento. Two very smart football players both said that they didn't know about this. To me, Kyle Shanahan prepared for everything except for this. And how no one in the 49ers organization thought about this, thought about prepping themselves for this exact scenario. When I saw things on Twitter leading up to this game saying, this game's going to go to double overtime. And people were talking about it before the game. And just for the organization to not all know about it collectively going into such a big game, that's the part that irks me. And Jaevon, I'm sorry for interrupting you. You can go ahead and finish talking about how the 49ers were incompetent in overtime. Go ahead.
Well, I really don't think it matters, to be honest, just because of the fact that our defense got shredded up and down the field previously. So I see they
still gave up 19 points though through regulation. So they did their job for most of the game.
I still see the angle on us getting the ball and just giving the defense a break for a second and just going down. I think you could have argued that you still would have needed a touchdown to, if you're going to give the ball back to Mahomes, you're not going to try.
They shouldn't have went on
leave
4th
the
and
door
2.
Open. Just going into overtime, us getting the ball, the drive was damn near almost over after 3 plays, but we got touched by an angel with a holding penalty that kind of, rejuvenated our offense back up, and we. Purdy was scrambling, running for his life and making off-schedule plays, tight window throws. Brandon Ayuk, he's hitting. Debo Samuel's getting involved. George Kittle had a crazy catch. And the throw that Kyle Juszczyk was probably the best throw that he had, probably all game. We stall out on 3rd down. 3rd and 4 is kind of where the free rusher gets. Chris Jones is a free rusher, which I don't know how the best defensive player arguably on the Chiefs is the free rusher. You're looking at it. If you're looking at the tape, I saw that Brandon Ayuk was wide ass open, jumping up and down in the back of the end zone. And you also could see that Jawan Jennings would have ended up being wide open, but I feel like the play was designed for Ayuk because Ayuk made whoever was guarding him, I think it was L'Jarius Sneed, he fell. And he was fucking wide ass open in the back of the end zone. So it's 3rd and 4. I think we were at the 12-ish yard line or whatever it was. So you could have looked at it and been like, do we go for it? But going for it was in the back of my mind. But at the same time, you're like, okay, we don't get it. Mahomes just has to get half of what he originally needs to get to basically go win the game. So you're looking at it like they need a touchdown to score to win, and they have to go basically the length of the field. But it is Patrick Mahomes, so it's not like this is his first rodeo and he hasn't done anything like this before. So we end up kicking the field goal, and I'm fucking sweating bullets. We get to a 4th down, which was pretty surprising. 4th and 1. They're in shotgun. I'm like, bro, they're in shotgun. 4th and 1. There's no way that we don't stop them here. They run a freaking read option with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce leading the way. And he Nick Bosa bites on the fake when he's supposed to have outside contain on that play. And Mahomes just runs right by him. They get the first down. I'm just like, oh, great, awesome. And then we get 3rd and 6. So I'm like, we got another opportunity to get a stop.
Walk it down again.
And we blitz. Why are we blitzing Patrick Mahomes? Like, what are we doing? This isn't.
There was nothing you're going to be able to do, bro.
There's
nothing you're going to be able to do.
The first half, I'm not going to lie. It was working the first half.
We run man. He runs just up the middle for freaking 50 yards. We run zone. He picks us apart. We blitz. They're going to get us on a crossing route. So it's like, what can you really do? It's really nothing that you can really do. I think it's just you're seeing the Chiefs kind of just slowly start to drive down the field. Pacheco gets involved and he gets all the way into the red zone, and I'm just like, they're gonna win, aren't they? And then you heard Tony Romo was like, he said it weirdly. How it was like, this is just the first quarter of overtime, but I think what he was trying to say is if the time would have expired, the Chiefs would have still had the ball. They just would have reversed fields. And so
there ain't no panic.
Mahomes throws it to who is it? McCall.
The corn dog play
was he was wide ass open in the end zone. We lose.
Hartman.
And it did not feel good when you just we had way too many chances to win this game. Really, not even win this game, to put this game away with, getting turnovers, free turnovers that the Chiefs never turn the ball over, especially in the playoffs. So we did nothing with the turnovers. I feel like the defense forced multiple punts. We weren't able to convert off of those. We were kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns, which ultimately left the door for he's the second best quarterback in NFL history. I'm just going to say that now. Last year after the Super Bowl when they beat the Eagles, I was like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's kind of, no, he's the second best quarterback ever. So I've seen enough. He's never been on the road in the playoffs. He goes on the road. He's undefeated straight up as an underdog. Like, it's just, if you would have just bet on Patrick Mahomes the whole playoffs, you would have won a ton of money. Hats off to the Chiefs. They beat us again in the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce is bumping into freaking Andy Reid on the sideline in the first half. I was like, bro, this is the greatest time. Like, they were in their feelings. We get a turnover. Like, we need to fucking.
Great teams find a way, bro. Great teams find a way.
I just think it's the anomaly of Patrick Mahomes. That's kind of what it is. And I saw somebody say that this is kind of what it feels like when Michael Jordan was in the league, and you had the Houston Rockets, you had the Utah Jazz, and all these other just random ass teams going
Bad Boy Pistons
against and just like whenever Jordan's playing in the finals, he won. So it's just like I really I have no words. Patrick Mahomes beat us again. And somehow the Niners opened up as favorites for next year. No idea.
That's so disrespect.
I have no idea how that's possible, but we're going to be faced with some things to deal with in the offseason. So there are going to be some guys that are going to have to leave. I think an underrated thing. I want to definitely also mention that our star linebacker, Drager Greenlaw, hurts himself running onto the field.
Man,
he tears his Achilles trying to run onto the field. I don't know if that's not
an
actual injury that's been reported, but it looks like it's an Achilles injury. Yeah. So that did not help, because the first couple of drives, it was Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner that were in on basically every play. So And another guy that we definitely missed was Talanoa Hufanga, our all-pro safety, who tore his ACL earlier in the year. So yeah, no, we really didn't. The defense couldn't have played any better. I just think the offense could have definitely capitalized on a bunch more things. We had a bunch of opportunities and could not capitalize off those at all. Kaz was saying he knows a bunch of Niner fans, and he was seeing stuff on Twitter saying that, do you feel like the Niners were cheated, this, that, and third? I don't feel like the Niners were cheated. I feel like the Niners just left the door open for Patrick Mahomes. Well, they left the door open, unlocked in the hood, and the guy came in. They left it wide open. Like, they didn't leave it
robbed
cracked.
your ass.
They just left it wide open with all the Christmas presents in the living room, and they came and took everything. So Mahomes is a 3-time champion. In his first 6 years, that's probably the greatest start to anyone's career in NFL history. If I would just be spitballing here, but he's gonna go down as probably the greatest quarterback of all time, dare I say it, but he's got a little bit of a ways to go. Tom Brady had 20 years to get 7. Patrick Mahomes is already at 3 in 6 years. So hats off to the Chiefs. And Andy Reid is definitely making his case for probably the best coach of all time, too.
I was waiting on that. I was surprised that he wasn't brought up beforehand. It was all Mahomes. I'm like, dude, the play calling and that scheme is all Andy Reid.
He's the best coach in the league.
Even mentioning that when it was 4th and 1, they just run a quarterback. They run a read option. No, that's a well-designed play by Andy Reid. There
was a bunch of well-designed plays.
Yeah, I watched that play.
He said that he's going to take it himself, though. He told Andy, like, if it's not there, I'm running it. So I ain't going to lie. Andy does do a lot of great things. But that last one we're talking about, though, Cass, he said,
the 4th and 1?
He said, I'm taking it myself. Yeah, he said it. He was like, he told Coach, if it's open, that's why I took the timeout. He said, if it's open, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, having Travis Kelce motion the way that they did, it's just like somebody in my chat right now says unorthodox play style versus fundamental football won't work against him, and I agree with that. Like, they do unorthodox shit, and it's like you can't play. That's why Nick Bosa was on the island, lost. Like, what he bit. What are you gonna do, bro? I mean, the thing about here's what I noticed too, and I was talking to somebody about it last night. Is there's the argument that is Mahomes a dual threat quarterback? I mean, what more do you need to see? He may not have the same dynamics as Lamar Jackson or be, things like that. He is a fucking dual threat quarterback. He is fast as shit for his size. Okay. He is smart when he runs the ball. All right. You are not his line went from when he first got in the league, if I'm not mistaken. I remember I used to look at his line for rushing yards and be like, maybe 15 and a half, whatever. His line's like 35, 40 some games. Like, cause he's a rusher. He's a running quarterback. And he may not have had the greatest game of all time through the air, but you add in those 70 yards of rushing on the ground and you watch what happens. It's like, bro, like you said it best. You're like, you left the door open. That's what you can't do against great teams. Like, you cannot do that. It'll never work, because then you're relying on guys with not only experience, but also the world-class talent to go out there and execute. They're going to execute. They're going to execute every time. They just are. So, I mean, that's why I was curious about, if you guys felt cheated or not, because I saw a bunch of stuff and people posting like, you felt cheated. You let one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen with our own eyes have the ball a lot of time.
There's no reason why we shouldn't have been up like 24-7 into
that. Yeah, and that's true. But at the same time, you also have to think about the fact that these guys, like, even though they're professionals, dude, nerves are gonna kick in, man. Brock Purdy's not gonna play the same way in Super Bowl that he's gonna play that he played in Week 10. Okay, McCaffrey first time being there, he didn't play bad, but even the fumble, he never fumbles. Guess what?
Ever.
That's what happens when you're on the big stage. The better and more poised team in any sport will always prevail in that. You have to play damn near perfect. The Philadelphia Eagles played phenomenal last year in the Super Bowl, and we had 1 or 2 hiccups, and that was it. That's all it took. 1 or 2 hiccups. The Jalen Hurts fumble, we bounced back, we score, we're leading at half. We did all the right things, and it didn't matter because in the punt return, that's it.
The field
boys. Yeah, well, whatever. Anyways, shut up.
Well, I mean, no, Kaz, look at the comment displayed on the screen. I assume that's one of your boys, Salvador Gonzalez, who says, at least y'all played.
He's an Eagles fan, though.
Okay, so gotcha. So he is an Eagles fan. It makes sense because Salvador Gonzalez says, at least y'all played on a better field, LMAO.
Hey, we gotta let it go, bro. It's been 2 years now.
Well, he does say but he did say preach, Kaz. So there you go.
Yeah. Sorry, Shaun. Go ahead. I know you've been wanting to get your piece out, but I just had to say that about Andy Reid. I feel like Andy Reid was not getting no respect. He wouldn't get no clout. So I'm like, man, come
He
on,
deserves
Big
that.
Red. Give Big Red the clouts, dog. He was out there and he led that
does.
team, and Mahomes did what he needed to do, and Kelsey stepped up, even though he didn't get in the end zone and ruined
Yeah,
all my
go.
bets. Ruined all my bets. Let's not talk about the fact that Kelsey couldn't score a damn touchdown. Go ahead, Shaun.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure no one else wanted to jump in real quickly because I got a lot to say. But before I get to that, I just wanted to get to a couple of comments starting out here on YouTube. Uncle Manny says, of the Chiefs teams, this was probably the worst. Teams keep taking players each year, and Uncle Manny, that's what makes this the best win by the Chiefs of their 3 Super Bowls that they've won in the Patrick Mahomes era. And it also makes it the most impressive, the fact that they were able to lose to the Broncos, lose to the Raiders, and still go on to win a championship.
We should have called AP for offensive scheme strategy because they went.
I guess so.
They went into Arrowhead and beat a team. They beat the Chiefs with their quarterback throwing for under 80 yards.
Yeah. Crazy.
I know the funniest comment, one of the funny comments I did see from Raiders fan real quick, Shaun, before you say anything, was like, they were like, he was a Raiders fan. He was like, he was a Niner fan. He was like, y'all let the guys who practice and whoop y'all ass in the outfield all the time get a chance to whoop the Niners ass now. Y'all been practicing whooping their ass in the dome, whatever. That was so weak. I was like, man, even the Raider fans are getting it.
Yeah, and so Uncle Manny, that's probably what hurts the most. And Salvador Gonzalez says Mahomes is just that good. The Niners played a good game. I agree with that as well. I mean, he's the best player in the NFL, and he arguably could retire as the greatest football player of all time. But that honor still belongs.
Is he better than Aaron Rodgers?
Tom Brady?
Yeah,
yes,
easily.
he is. Yeah, definitely.
Talent-wise,
and on
winning
on Instagram, our girl Toddy's mom, Tracy at Dat Niner Chick, says, devastated. This one hurts to the core, and I feel that to my core, T.
Sorry,
and
Mama.
Now, just finally, I left these comments here for a reason. I will now respond to them and then go into my diatribe. As Khalil says, was Cam right? Fuck no, he wasn't right. He's just a hater. And he says, Shaun, you okay, dog? Looking stressed. No, Khalil, I'm not okay. I'm quite sad, actually. But I'm here. I'm here to take my L and to grieve here with our audience on Stats Over Politics, live on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and simulcasting on Kazzy Bear TV on Twitch. Yeah, this is my therapy session right now. So let's just get right into it. As we know, the 49ers lost to the Chiefs 25-22 in overtime. It was the most watched Super Bowl ever with 123.4 million average viewers. Thank you, Taylor Swift. Mahomes is the 5th starting quarterback all time to win 3 Super Bowls, along with Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, and Troy Aikman. The Chiefs are the 4th different team to win 3 Super Bowls in a 5-year span. As Jaevon mentioned earlier, the 49ers have already opened up as favorites to win the Super Bowl in 2025, as the 49ers have plus 550 odds. That means if you bet 100, you could win $550. The Chiefs are second at plus 650. Baltimore is at plus 900. Buffalo's plus 950. Cincinnati and Detroit are plus 1,200. Kevin's Eagles and Kaz's Eagles are plus 2,000. And Gary's Steelers could win you $7,500.
Got rid of Mitch.
$100 bet.
That's why the odds dropped.
Got rid of Mitch, so I guess it is. Yeah, he got rid of Mitch, so I guess those odds should go up a little bit.
There you go.
And Rob says, Shaun, I've gone easy on you, buddy. I feel bad that you've had to watch your team lose 3 Super Bowls. I appreciate it, Rob, because it really has been hard. Like, I was talking to an Eagles fan yesterday at the Super Bowl party that I attended, and he was a man in about his 50s. And I was saying, I explained to him how I was born in 1998, haven't seen my team actually win one, only 2, now 3 Super Bowl losses, like 3 NFC championship losses. And I said to him, I just want to see my team win one. Like, we can finish with 6 by the time that I'm dead. I just want to see us win 1 in my entire lifetime. And he explained to me, and Kaz, you could probably relate to this. I know that you're in your late 20s, early 30s, But this guy was in his 50s, and he said, I had to wait 50 plus years to watch my team win a Super Bowl. And Kaz, I know you had to wait all of your life until 2017 to see the Eagles do it. And so that's what I'm still struggling with. It's what Jaevon is still struggling with. And, Rob is a Cowboys fan, and he will be the first person to tell me anytime I try to talk mess about the Cowboys, he will immediately respond and say, we have a Super Bowl more recently than you do, Cowboys fans do. By 1 year, they have a Super Bowl more recently.
Sad.
It was like
it's very sad. It's very sad considering the fact that the 49ers have played in like 8-9 NFC championship games since they last won a Super Bowl. The Cowboys have played in 0 NFC championship games since the last time they won a Super Bowl. So it's tough. And Rob says, I can't even imagine, bro. I'd probably stop watching football. Not really. Yeah, it's tough. And yes, Rob constantly clowns me all the time. But my guy Rakeem, shout out to Rakeem. He says, let it out, Shaun. Rakeem is another Eagles fan, so he was
Rakeem's
trolling.
Eagles? That's crazy.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he was trolling. He was trolling us hard on Instagram last night.
Karan was trolling me as well.
Yeah, and Khalil says, I got lucky seeing my dogs win one. And so Patrick Mahomes may already be better than Aaron Rodgers, but at least Khalil has seen his team win one. Rob says, love you, buddy. Haha, I appreciate it. I love you too, Rob. Anyways, now moving on, guys, as I mentioned all of those factoids, I just wanted to close by saying this. There were 4 game-changing plays, in my opinion, in this game. Number 1 was Dre Greenlaw rupturing his Achilles, because I kept saying going into this game, the biggest difference between 2020 and 2024 in this matchup is the fact that the 49ers don't have to guard Tyreek Hill. They didn't have to worry about that threat. Garry was saying that he could have been MVP this year. The fact that Tyreek Hill stayed in Miami, the Super Bowl last time was played in Miami. Tyreek Hill is now a resident of Miami. The fact that he wasn't in this game and that Travis Kelce was the main primary target that the 49ers had to worry about, I thought that with the linebacker duo of Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, arguably the best in the NFL, I thought that the 49ers would lock down Travis Kelce, or at least the best that they could. They could manage him. And that's exactly what they did in the first half. Because in that first half, Travis Kelce was held to 1 target for 1 reception and 1 yard. Second half in overtime, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 92 receiving yards. Sorry, Kaz, he didn't get the touchdown for your bet, but that's still pretty damn good. He had so Travis Kelce had a 134.7 passer rating when targeted. That's what Mahomes had when throwing to Travis Kelce, and it also had a 32.1 Pro Football Focus coverage grade. So Travis Kelce went nuts after Dre Greenlaw got hurt, and my heart hurts for Dre. And after the game, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa were saying, "You guys don't know what Dre has fought through. Like, he's been dealing with an Achilles injury for months, but he was playing through it. He didn't tear the damn thing, but he played all the way until he did. And for it to happen, not even in a live play, and just have him jubilantly running onto the field because he's playing in the Super Bowl and his team's playing really well, and to see him hurt his Achilles the way he did, have to be carted out of there, my heart absolutely broke for Dre. And I just want to reemphasize what T said, because it was devastating seeing what happened to Dre Greenlaw. And then after that, we saw the results with Travis Kelce, another T, going off on the 49ers. The punt bouncing off of, it was number 28, last name starts with an L. Was it Chris Conley? I thought it was number 28, because Conley's 84, but maybe someone can fact check that for me while I'm on my tangent here. But I'm pretty sure it was number 28. Last name starts with an L. Can't remember what his actual name is, but that's why Ray McCloud tried to pick up the ball. Ray McCloud, he had the foresight, whatever the word is, to see that the ball hit his teammate's heel and that he needed to jump on the ball and couldn't just let it go. But his mistake was trying to pick it up and run rather than diving on it and keeping the possession. When that play happened, I really started to have doubts, because you need breaks like that. And when that play happened, I started to feel like, you know what? Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe the 49ers winning this Super Bowl isn't meant to be, because you need those breaks. When Mahomes threw the interception, I had hope. When the 49ers got, the holding call in overtime, I thought I had hope. But plays like that, where the ball grazes a defender's ankle and then you have a turnover because of it, then they immediately score a touchdown, the falling play. Those are backbreakers. Jake Moody, I will hate on him as a Michigan man, but he played excellent in this game. 2 50-plus yard field goals. He set the record at 55 yards, and then Harrison Butker broke it at 57 yards. Jake Moody did his job. He did his job. He got it. He got an extra point blocked, but in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I don't blame the kicker when a kick is blocked. I blame the offensive line. I blame everyone else because the kicker did. Maybe he could have kicked it quicker. Who knows? But I kind of blame the offensive line there, Gary. You look like you disagree. Kaz says
sorry. What's his name? My bad. Sherman said that he kicked off a side's foot and he kicked it low. That's what he said. I'm not sure. I'd love to look at it again. I didn't really look at his
Feely said he fucked it up too.
I was gonna say more often than not. I mean, that's such a precise thing to really try to say. Well, the kicker didn't kick it in the right position. I mean,
he didn't kick it.
It's a game of angles. When kickers are practicing, how to kick field goals from any which way, they're not thinking, okay, I need to hit it at this point of the ball to get it. They are, but it's not to like such an
extra point, y'all.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a kick, man. It's like why are guys even there? Why are guys even there? You know what I mean? Why are they back there? I agree with you, Shaun, on that one.
Thank you. And so that was the third biggest game-changing play to me, and I can't even blame Jake Moody for it. To me, he played really well in this game, and Jaevon Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, those are the only two players that I would put ahead of Jake Moody as far as Super Bowl MVP conversation if the 49ers were to win that game, because Jaevon Jennings was the only other player. He was the second player to throw a touchdown and catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Everyone knows who the other one was, Mr. Philly Special, Nick Foles. And so Jaevon Jennings, he was definitely at number one, but Christian McCaffrey with over 150 scrimmage yards.
They gave him a statue.
I think he was definitely a candidate. Yeah, they did give him a statue. But anyways, my point is that Jake Moody played well in this game. He did his job, in my opinion. But that was ultimately the difference that allowed the Chiefs to kick a field goal at the end of regulation and send it to overtime rather than having to go for the game-winning touchdown. Who knows? The Chiefs could have scored a touchdown there, and then they win the Super Bowl in regulation because they were forced to go for a touchdown with 6 seconds left rather than kicking a field goal. But that blocked extra point is what led to overtime being possible. And the 49ers taking the ball in overtime after winning the toss. That was the biggest glaring mistake, in my opinion, because as I went off about earlier, the fact that they changed these overtime rules, and the NFL is usually pretty good, at least before the season starts, they inform every single team. They have an official come in, they explain the new rules, the changes, and everything. And so the fact that everyone on the Kansas City sideline seemed to know about this new double overtime rule, what to do, but the fact that two of the 49ers' smartest players, being Kyle Juszczyk and Eric Armstead, even admitted after the game in their post-game media that they didn't talk about that at all. They didn't know about it at all. And so when Kyle Shanahan receive the ball when they won the toss, tails never fails. But for them to receive the ball first with these new overtime rules, knowing that regardless of if you score a touchdown, Patrick Mahomes is going to get the ball. That was a huge mistake to me because, like I said earlier, then you know that you need to go for it on fourth down if they score a touchdown first. And that way they can't beat you and walk off with the win like they did. And so those were the four biggest game-changing plays to me. And it was just hard, man, because as I've talked about nonstop, like as a 25-year-old who's never seen his team actually win a Super Bowl, I only hear about Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, Steve Young, and all the great times of the past that preceded me by 3 years. The last one happened 3 years before I was born. And so it's been tough as a 49ers fan because I could be like Rob and I could be a Cowboys fan that just sees my team get eliminated in the wild card round or the divisional round every time they make the playoffs. So then the playoff run isn't prolonged and then the hurt isn't more. But as 49ers fans, we've seen our team make the Super Bowl 3 times now in the last 10 years, 12 years, or 11 years. But regardless, it's just really hard. And I'll just close by saying that I feel extremely bad for the 9 players that were a part of the 2020 team as well, with Kyle Juszczyk, who, despite losing a Super Bowl, apparently didn't know about the new overtime rule. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Eric Armstead, another guy, lost the Super Bowl, didn't think about learning about the new double overtime. Kevin Givens, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Mitch Wishnowsky. I feel bad for those guys primarily, and Coach Kyle Shanahan, because Kyle Shanahan has gotten an awful rap when it comes to his coaching in a Super Bowl. I honestly,
I'm
besides,
glad that you mentioned Kyle Shanahan.
Go ahead,
John.
Please go ahead.
Andy Reid. Let's take it back a little bit. Through 2001 to 2004, so it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year span, basically. NFC Championship game loss, NFC Championship game loss, NFC Championship game loss, Super Bowl loss. Kyle Shanahan, 2019 to 2023, Super Bowl loss, NFC Championship game loss, NFC Championship game loss, Super Bowl loss. Took Andy Reid about another 15 years before Patrick Mahomes fell to him at number 10, whatever draft it was, and they just started rattling off Super Bowls. So, I mean, Kyle Shanahan's legacy is far from written. Let's just say that. A lot of people are going to say, oh, he choked in the Atlanta Super Bowl. He wasn't head coach, he was offensive coordinator. Like,
Blame Dan Quinn, the new Redskins coach. Excuse me, Commanders. Sorry.
But,
though. He's been horrible on third down, though, in the Super Bowls. There's like a stat. I see a crazy one line. Just FYI.
That's saying that he's bad from coming back from games. It's a bad stat that he's coming back with third down.
He's getting in there. He's a great coach, man. He's top 5 for sure. I don't think this falls on the coach now. Who does it fall on then, guys? Who does it fall on? Mr. Purdy? We haven't talked too much about Mr. Purdy. What happened to all the Brock Purdy?
Purdy played good enough to win. We just didn't execute.
He played solid, but he shouldn't have played great if you wanted to beat Patrick Mahomes. So I don't want to get on the guy. He played solid. He
Lamar
is, I think I mentioned.
Josh Allen couldn't beat Mahomes.
No, exactly. I'm not going to lie. And he played low-key better than those guys, too, when he played the same very team. So I'll give Brock Purdy credit. He's in his second year. Doesn't mean he can't be great one day.
I'll say that.
He could be top 10. I think I rattled off my segment last time. But, again, when we go down the list, he's very at the bottom just because the AFC is crowded in the top. So, NFC-wise, yeah, he. You know what? I feel like my take was a little strong on him a little last week. I feel like I was a little too harsh on him. The guy is only on his second year. He played solid yesterday. There's 2 plays, one to Deebo that was overthrown, and there's also one to Ayuk. But you can see, but you can read his mouth. He was like, he should have been there. Well, you should hang in the pocket a little longer. I know you would have got smacked by Jones, but you should hang in a little longer and would have made that throw 1 or 2 plays. And you got to be great when you're facing greatness. And he wasn't great, but he was solid. He was solid. Can't hate on that man too much. Got to give him credit where credit was due. But, just wasn't good enough. And real quick, before we know, I know we're going to probably head in a different direction, but real quick, can we stop hating on Love now? All y'all fans that are hating on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, that shit has been getting so annoying. It's actually people have been saying they've been annoyed by them, like, that they keep showing them the bread. Y'all really are just annoying. Go ahead. I'm happy.
I put it on the graph. I put it on the graphic.
Thank you, Shaun, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure if you two were the Niner fans that were hating on them or something like that, but I've been hearing a whole lot of fans all of a sudden about, because Shaun, thank you don't hate on Love. I'm pretty sure Vaughn wasn't hating it. I don't know if Kaz was hating it or not.
Gary, 123 million viewers. That was the average.
I was hearing Niner fans pissed at Kelce just because he bagged one of the richest, beautiful girls in his eyes in the world. What's wrong with that? I don't understand what it was whole like, they're ruining football. What, now your daughters who love this girl are actually interested in watching with you? Like, I just don't understand the whole hatred toward them just because they keep showing them they want to watch football. Like, the whole narrative of them just hating on those two really annoyed me. It's like, bro, why are y'all just so negative? Let them enjoy their thing. You're the ones who guys are bringing them into the spotlight. And yeah, in the NFL, you think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are telling the cameras of NFL to point the camera at me, or you think they're doing it themselves? They're doing it themselves because they want to make money. Because like Shaun said, they knew more eyes were going to come. So at the end of the day, I don't know why we hating on and Love straight up. And I don't know, Fight Boys is what, top 10? Stop drinking, bro. Yeah, I don't know. We could go through the top 10. Purdy's barely making it, my boy. Barely making it. But
Toddy,
he's making it.
He went to a Super Bowl in his second year. He's not top 10. You're freaking smoking. That's what
I remember when I made that same case for Jalen Hurts last year, and I was told I was stupid because he is a running back playing quarterback. And I'm like, bro, he just had a great performance in the Super Bowl last year. Like, Not even with his legs,
Well,
through the
look at
air.
that
I mean,
football, Vaughn.
he rushed for what, 3 touchdowns? I think it was. I think he had 4 total touchdowns for the Super Bowl, if I remember correctly. But regardless, it ain't like he ran for 150 yards in 3 touchdowns. It's like the whole brotherly shove shit and the fucking on the goal line. But I mean, that's neither here
Kevin,
nor
that's
there.
the
You know
clip
what I'm
right
saying?
there. That's the TikTok clip. Is Brock Purdy
Just
the quarterback? Clip it.
No, just because you make the Super Bowl does not make you automatically top 10. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's not top 10, but if we can go with a list of quarterbacks that you guys were saying Jimmy G was top 10. Don't look good now. Were you saying
I never said Jimmy
Nick
G.
Foles was
never
top
said
10?
that.
Now looking not good.
I
now.
never said that either. I never said that before.
I'm
I
just
met you
saying
guys.
though,
Yeah.
but Vaughn just said you make the Super Bowl, you're automatically top 10 in the sense.
NFC
Like, nah, that
championship
ain't always
game
the
and
case.
then Super Bowl. First 2 years.
Yeah, I just named you 2-3 guys who have made big runs.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
I think you have
an
an argument for it, but I mean, it ain't just automatic. No.
It ain't just automatic now. That's because you did something. Just because you went somewhere. Because then you should have been great and won this game right here. Now, if you would have won this game, I would have said no. All credit to him. All credit to him. All credit to him. Because he would have put the numbers up and everything, which would have knocked him down. What could you knock about him? He won in his second year. What can you knock about him? So he was close, and I feel like people are arguing on him too much, which is crazy though. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's just because he's on his great team that he's actually getting this hate. Because realistically, we already know the story. Mr. Irrelevant. I'm surprised this wasn't the biggest story of NFL. It really is shocking that the guy who's last pick, had a roommate in the beginning of the year, and is now in the
still
Super
has
Bowl.
that same roommate.
Exactly. So that's just pretty mean. So you know what? I kind of want to switch the narrative a little bit on him to say that, he had a great solid year and he deserves some credit. But I think it's fans like Vaughn here who are saying maybe top 5, maybe even I know you're itching to maybe say top 5. That makes everyone want to hate the man.
I say it's top 10 though.
All right, I'm making sure here. We don't want to go over the ledge here. I'm waiting for one of our guys commenting here. Go ahead, drop a top 10 list. Go ahead. Y'all might as well since y'all saying fuck no.
I don't know. After this season, it'd take a while to get a top 10 list because you really got to think about some of these quarterbacks this year look real strange, and some quarterbacks looked phenomenal that nobody expected. So I think right now a top 10 list would be somebody I need to sit down and really think about that. It is a lot. Hey, it is a lot. Yeah. Hey, he wilding. He got to be a Cowboys fan.
He is definitely a certified Cowboys fan.
Look, First off, get Kobe out the back of your background, bro, because you saying some crazy shit right now, man. That's disrespect, bro. Talking about hurts a bum. Come on now, bro. 1 year, good. Come on, bro. Listen, I'm not gonna get a hurt. I'm not. Shut up. Okay, you guys just lost. I'm not gonna get. No, because y'all been wilding out for fucking 17 weeks. More than 20 weeks. All right. Y'all been
we've been wild out. We have been wilding out since the Eagles game. Let's be fair.
Listen.
Y'all both lost to the GOAT.
Too much. Did y'all see Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, he went crazy. Good. What?
He was ready. He was ready.
There's a reason why Cox put that shit out there because it's y'all was acting like I told you before, Toddy. Y'all was acting like just the hottest thing since shoestrings. Just we the Niners. We gonna win the Super Bowl. It ain't nothing to us. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who did you?
We're the team that beat you guys 40.
Yeah, that's fine, and that was your Super Bowl. Congratulations.
Screenshots of Debo always on the bench, with his head down every single time.
He couldn't wait to kick us while we were.
I was like, I remember saying,
Raider fans.
I have multiple tweets where I said, first off, the Ravens and the Niners, they're both not making the Super Bowl, and I also have tweets saying that neither of those teams are going to win.
You were wrong then.
No,
you said
I said
or win the Super Bowl.
I said they both won't make it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said because there was that Niners, right? Like, no.
Yeah, they were talking about the graphic. Yeah, I know
that
whole conspiracy. Yeah,
I was like, that's not going to happen. And then I said, on top of that, whichever one does make it, if one of them does, they're not even going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm just like,
well, I said we watched the Super Bowl last week, so I
had a lot of my Ravens homies. So they weren't as bad as y'all. Y'all acted like I don't know what was y'all this year was like. Y'all acting so. No, the Niners. I don't know about where y'all from. The Niners fans around here acting so bougie. I'm like, it ain't even the playoffs yet. You know, the playoffs is a different beast. Be happy you winning. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Talk a little shit. But y'all like, you wanted the Super Bowl this year. It ain't nothing to us. Come on, dog. Come on. Who says that week 11? Week 12. Y'all was wilding out, bro, around here. That's all I got to say, man.
Getting to the Super Bowl was nothing because we've done it 3 times now in an 11-year span. The problem, Kaz, is winning the Super Bowl. And that's why I said, like, with 3 weeks to go in the regular season, I said the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl. I did think that they would coast through the NFC playoffs. I was wrong about that. But I thought the adversity that they faced was going to make them battle-tested and ready for the Super Bowl. But apparently they didn't study the overtime rules, and they didn't put themselves in position to win. So there you go.
All right,
go ahead.
That's the reason.
According to me, Caleb Williams is a top 10 quarterback. This is
yeah. Toddy did say
summer.
Like before the college season even started, Toddy said that Caleb Williams would be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm like, damn.
Mr. Rob, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Cowboys fan cannot speak a peep today. I don't know what y'all talking. Y'all always got y'all shit trampled.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Eagles or a Cowboy, diehard Cowboy fan.
He said, "Cat's talking way too much for a dude whose team quit November. Quit?
Y'all did kind of quit.
I don't know about quit.
Y'all lost to Bayfield.
This is terrible.
Flacco.
Flight Boys. I think Flight Boys is Evan, but Evan's Flight Boys top 10 list is Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Jared Goff.
Get Joe Burrow the fuck out of here too.
Jalen Hurts, okay. Jalen Hurts, yeah. Joe Flacco, Jared Goff. What are we doing? Joe Flacco.
Shit, what up,
come on.
Oh, Joe Flacco.
Oh, man.
Bro.
That is a
Baker Mayfield. That's who ended the Eagles season. Let's not forget.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's Rob
let
Eagles
Retro Rob have his moment. Let Retro Rob have his moment, man. Listen, fuck.
Hey,
doing the Cowboys this year, man, I'm all right with this looking like trash. On November, December, I'm okay with that.
Belts on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and as Rakeem says, Rakeem is an Eagles fan, Kaz, so he got your back. He says the Packers put belt ass on the Cowboys in Jerry World.
In Jerry World, y'all ain't lost there for like a whole season.
They put up 40.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. That should have been 40-7.
There were 7.5.
It allowed y'all to come back in that game.
Like one thing, of the worst losses like ever, because they're like there hasn't been like when they're highly favored like that. Usually the favorites win. I don't know if they cover, but they don't lose outright.
Yeah, the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
When you're like a 7.5 point favorite, like the Eagles, I get they were they're favored in that game, but they're only a 3 point favorite in that game, 2.5 point favorite. Yeah. So the Vegas kind of sensed that they were like they're kind of falling off a little bit. So.
The Cowboys are Cowboys, man. They can't handle the pressure in the playoffs. It's just that simple. It's not even. They can have literally they can have a Pro Bowl team. Take all the NFC Pro Bowlers and put them on the Cowboys. They will lose in the playoffs because it is an embarrassment to wear that star. The players even know it. That's how bad and just disgusting that organization is. The players show up. They have a super team. They're leading the league in offense for like multiple years straight in the past like 7 years. Phenomenal running backs. Dak Prescott balling out. They get to the playoffs every time and they choke. A Cowboys fan can't say nothing to me, bro. For 30 years, I gotta see it.
Micah said, "Damn," he said, "DQ, come get me."
Well, before we move on here on episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics, Shaun Holko alongside Jaevon, Toddy, Garry Singh, and Kaz Johnson of Kazzy Bear TV. Before we move on, guys, I did want to highlight one Instagram comment that related to Garry. And while we're in between topics here, we got two more quick segments that are related to the Super Bowl and the NFL this season. But before we get there, on Instagram, @official J Smalls says Kirk would be raw on the Steelers. Garry, what's your thoughts on Kirk Cousins on the Steelers?
Jay right there. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I feel bad for my homie Jay. He's a fellow Niner fan like you guys. He is very hurting today, and he's actually one of the Niner fans I actually love because he actually is one of the very few that don't talk that much shit and really just loves. He just don't want to talk no shit. He don't even want to talk shit about other teams. He just really just loves his team. That's it. So I feel bad for my guy today. I wish I knocked on his door for some money though. He's lucky. Actually, he had a group chat with all these Niner fans who I work with. None of them wanted to smoke y'all. Jaevon and Shaun, y'all really represented it because I asked any takers. I asked a lot of people. You guys were
thanks for taking my money, Garry. Thank you.
I was throwing 50s everywhere. I got like 4 or 5 people. I was like, you want to bet 50? You want to bet 50? You want to bet 50?
Garry had time yesterday.
I did right before an hour before the show, right before this thing was cooking. But to answer Jay's question,
y'all might win the division.
Hey, man, we almost won the division. Man, all I know is my Steelers got a long way to go in terms until next year, so we got a lot of moves to make. I'm not sure if Kenny Pickett is the guy, but Kirk Cousins, if Russell Wilson, anyone want to come on a cheap deal for us?
That's your problem. Y'all want to get somebody cheap. Y'all gotta go.
We're gonna have to get somebody cheap because most likely we wouldn't that I know I ain't gonna lie. I feel like we got y'all know we have a lot of pieces on our team defensively that are ready when we talked about them when they got their season ended by the Bills earlier in this playoff run.
Y'all got $100 million for Kirk.
I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a lot of options for us right now in terms of we got a Super Bowl ready team. I fully feel like that. We got a Super Bowl ready team. We just got to work quarterback away. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you though. Our already said we're rocking with Kenny Pickett, so we're not that type of we ain't that type of guys. Stupid. I guess we're what we call loyal to the soil. So
stupid. Loyal to the stupid.
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's hurting us right now, guys. But we ain't see. But the one thing I do love about that is we don't go low. We don't go low as these Cowboys fans do. You don't see us in the dirt and having a heart taken and things of that nature. We usually overachieve our expectations. You feel me? We overachieve. It's all about expectations, Cass, when you come into the year. You know what I'm saying? If your expectation to win the bowl is different from a team trying to win the playoffs or win the division or getting a wild card, it's all about expectations. That's why these two guys that are right here are in pain because expectations was to win the bowl. You feel me? Yeah. Kaz was a little bit probably heartbroken. They was expected to win the bowl. My team was expected to be 8-8 and make the playoffs, which we did. So I'm kind of happy going into next year. So we all good.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, Cowboys fans, they can't say nothing to you, me, Toddy, Shaun, they can't say nothing, bro. So just let them talk, man. I see him in the comments over there. I seen it. Look, look, hey, he went crazy.
I love Jesse, huh?
Hey, you know how I read that?
What happened yesterday?
Hey, listen, you know how I read that? I read that. Eagles fans are the worst people alive. That's how I read that. That's how I read that. You can't take these jokes for serious, bro. Come on, man. Get to an NC championship game now.
We got a lot of Cowboys fans.
This ain't a Cowboys. This ain't a Cowboys Eagles.
Oh yeah, Gary. This is the Cowboys Super Bowl. This is their Super Bowl because
this is.
They might have beaten the Eagles this season. They couldn't beat the 49ers, and so the Cowboys didn't really have a signature win from this past season. Hey, they got Mike Zimmer and his red face, as was said in one of my.
Hey, Dak had a good season. He was like what, like third in line for MVP.
MVP.
He was mentioned.
Yeah, he was a favorite.
God.
Well, as we continue here on episode number 81 of Stats Over Politics, make sure to give us a like on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And if you enjoy the show, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on X at Stats or Politics. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms. If you're enjoying the show, give us 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it, as you guys are currently tuned into episode 81 of Stats Over Politics with Jaevon, Toddy, Gary, Singh, and Ken.